Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, good evening, wherever you happen to be. It's great to be back with another video, and I just pray that you will enjoy this one. A topic kind of came to me early on this morning. The meaning of words matters. If we want to be authentic examples and disciples of Jesus, we need to watch carefully what it is that we say and how we say it, because it is so easy to dishonor God with loose words and to dishonor other people. I am not speaking of silly, outlandish statements. I'm talking about the type of things that we say to each other every single day. And you know what? When done incorrectly, it can be more than just carelessness. It can be sinful, dishonoring, and it can bring shame to the name of God. How did this topic even come about? Well, it started with me wondering about a particular phrase of a song that we sing often. And the phrase that was going through my mind was this: my anchor holds within the veil. I know you know the song, my anchor holds within the veil. And so we have that song that we sing, and I was suddenly thinking to myself, what does that even mean? And so I just verbalized that aloud to my wife. And of course, she popped onto her phone and she started to research on Google, where else, to see how the song originated and what it meant. And one of the things that she said to me kind of struck a chord with me. She was reading from an article and it said this. She said, this guy said in his article, we should never again sing any song in church unless you understand the origin of the song. Because when you understand what it is that makes that song, or where the song comes from, it makes the worship experience so much richer. And so my response was, well, you know what? I agree with the second part, but I disagree with the first part. And that got us into a little bit of debate. Why do you disagree with the first part? Well, my response was this: if we are going to say never sing another song unless you first understand the words, we are kind of throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I get it. It can enrich our experience of worship if we know what the words mean, where they come from, how they originated. I think that's wonderful. But don't just say, therefore, we have to, every song we sing, we must know the origin. Anyway, and so whilst we were having this kind of tete-a-tete and going backwards and forwards, it made me think about the meaning of words. Because I said to my wife, I said, this is my view. Because this was written down, somebody had time to craft it. They had time to consider it. They had time to amend it and to edit it. So in other words, it's not like something you just say off the top of your mind. This was written. And so as such, they were able to edit it and they were able to fix it. And so I believe they meant exactly what they said. And for me, it just didn't really gel. I don't want to become legalistic about what we sing and what we don't. In Matthew chapter 5, you all know the Sermon on the Mount. Jesus deals with very, very many topics. One of them was about making promises or giving oaths. And Jesus says this, he says, don't swear by anything. Don't swear by heaven. Don't swear by earth. Don't swear by Jerusalem. Don't swear by yourself, because you can't even make one hair grow on your head. In fact, Jesus said, don't swear by anything. He said, rather, let your yes be yes. And then listen to this in verse 37. I'm going to quote, anything beyond this comes from the evil one. That's what Jesus said. Anything beyond a yes or a no comes from the evil one. In other words, Jesus was saying, words matter. We need to say what we mean. This made me think about when you ask someone to promise something. So you tell somebody something and you say, now listen, you must promise me you won't pass this on, or you must promise me X, Y, Z. Why do we even need to ask that? Because if somebody says, okay, I won't speak, I won't repeat a word of this because maybe it is confidential. Well, my question is, why do you need to make them promise? The only reason to make them promise is if you don't believe their word in the first place. And that's what Jesus was saying. As believers, as disciples of Jesus, we need to make our yes be yes and our no mean no. Jesus was talking beyond the meaning of words in these passages. I've been a leader in business and in church over many decades. And I'm aware of the responsibility of leadership, the mantle that it carries. And you know what? As leaders, we lead by what we do, but we also lead by what we say. And I've been very troubled over decades of being in the church where leaders have said one thing and either not meant it or meant something completely different. I'm actually deeply saddened and concerned when a leader says, we'll do X, and then they don't do it at all, or alternatively they go off and do Y. And I've seen this so many times. I understand that sometimes in personal relationships we are under pressure to say something nice to a person, to console them, to make them feel better. We want to be nice, we want to be liked, we want to be approved. But when we say something that is contrary to our real intention, it's a lie. I'm going to say it straight. I'm going to call it what it is. You know, if we have no intention of doing what we say we're going to do, it's a lie. It is sin. It's the same as Jesus said, when you know to do good and you don't do it, that is sin. And so we need to be careful of what we say. And now let me add a disclaimer at this point. Anyone who knows me or has been in leadership with me in any group or in any church or whatever it is, may now sit there thinking, oh, Barry's talking about me. I'm not talking about anybody specific. This is something that I've seen across many decades, and it is common in almost every church that I've been in. I don't want to set myself up as righteous and more righteous than anyone else or more virtuous, but I am a straight talker. I try to just speak the truth. You know what? The thing is, it's a WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. I'm not going to say something to you just to be nice when I really have no intention or I don't believe that. Whenever I'm approached, for example, by a staff member, let's say one of my staff members comes to me and says, please can I get my salary earlier? I'm under pressure this month. I don't just say, yes, sure, because I want to be the nice boss. Why not? Because what I do for one, I have to be prepared to do for the other. I have to make sure that if I'm prepared to pay a salary early to this person, everyone else who may hear about it will come back to me and say, can I also have my salary early? I need to be prepared to do that. And if I'm not, I should rather say no. So I need to think about it before I respond. Sometimes you want to honor a person, especially in a church. You want to give honor to somebody. In these circumstances, I say honor them. You don't have to honor everybody every time. So sometimes you want to give one person honor. It doesn't mean, therefore, that you are dishonoring anybody else. It's okay to praise one person in a particular circumstance. But this concept of saying something nice to somebody because we don't want to hurt them or because we want to be nice, but we actually have no intention of doing it or we mean something else, is extremely dishonoring. Leadership is like praise. You don't always feel like praising, but you need to praise always. And you need to lead always, even when it's tough. The Bible says that we should be slow to speak and quick to listen. Most people do it the other way around. They don't want to hear because they're too busy talking first. Well, there's also that quote which says, rather let people think you're a fool than open your mouth and prove that they were right. You see, wisdom tells us to think first before we speak. Consider whether our yes means yes. You see, anyone can make a mistake once. But if you are a serial offender and you're constantly just saying things to people, but you don't mean it, you know what? You will find that people will now doubt your integrity. And I mean the word integrity. You don't have integrity. And it may even lead to people disrespecting you. And so even as bosses in our business, we need to be careful how we deal with people so that they will respect us. We need to lead by example. We need to say what we mean as leaders, even when it's hard to say. It's not a matter of just trying to be polite. We need to be full of grace, seasoned with salt, but we need to speak the truth. And perhaps there are some leaders listening today and you're thinking to yourself, wow, I wonder if he's talking about me, or, yeah, you know what, I could learn something here. Well, fantastic. Let's just be circumspect in what we say. You know, one of my pet hates is when people are late. I have a thing about being on time. So I move heaven and earth to make sure that when I say I'll be somewhere at a particular time, that I'm there at that time. When somebody else says, okay, meet you there at 10, I expect them to be there at 10. But some people, they don't see it the same way. And so they don't think of it as giving their word. You see, if you're going to meet me at 10, but you have no intention of being there at 10, or you're just very casual, well, if I get there 15 minutes late, so what? You disrespect my time, but your yes is not a yes, because rather say to me, listen, I'll be there more or less at 10, but I might be 15, 20 minutes late. I'm okay with that. But don't say meet you there at 10 and then pitch up at 25 past. That is not having integrity, and it's not letting your yes be a yes. Phone up and say, I'm running late. That's not a problem. But again, if you are always late, that is a problem. So I don't know, just think about that one. It's easy to speak without thinking. But I want to tell you that words contain power. So how are you using yours? Words can motivate or deflate. They can give hopes, and they can crush dreams. They can excite. They can inspire. They can elate people. They can frighten or anger or make people sad or give people hope. What you say matters. It shapes your environment and it shapes your life. Words are honestly containers of power, and they are a significant part of our interaction with people. Yes, our words are powerful. They contain power, and you know, they matter. How are you using your words? That's my question to you. So let me bring this to a close. Whether it's in a casual conversation or in the scope of leadership, however it is, whatever we say, let's think about what Jesus said. Let your yes be yes, and your no be no. For everything else beyond this is from the evil one. I hope that God blesses you. I hope that you have taken something away from this. Drop us a line, give us a comment, please subscribe, hit the notifications bell. I hope to see you back again. God bless you. See you next time.